There.
Desperate adventures. We are now prepared to meet the inevitable counterattack with power and responsibility.
Attacking Castle Ranagan were blessed with clean demigods, and Millennia was one of them. An Imperium carrying the Scarlet Wand, and Imperium is no mere demigod. In the age of the Elden Ring of America, precious Imperium was more, and you to forge a new order, since many fought were down, and the great spark rose to me, and dedicated myself to it, and to the resplendence of the order unrolled the cycle of day and rebirth.
My name is Barry Barfield.
My name's Paul Ross.
You're listening to Bonfireside Chat with the
And this week we're talking about the southern portion of Hewlett, following that highway down into the wilds as things get funkier and funkier.
Yes. Funky Caleb. Last time we broke into the Gilded Wilds. In Caleb line.
Yes.
And right away, like right here, the wall opens up at the highway. There's a grace here. Acts like a nice little checkpoint. There's a finger reader crone who's going to elliptically, as all the crones do, give us, ask us some questions that are actually answers.
Yeah, a little bit. This is. I don't like these guys that much. We talked about that.
Yeah.
This one I think is funny. It's just been like, are you one for festivals or flowers?
In the middle of this blasted hellscape.
Yeah, two things that sound pretty good and are technically true
right.
about this area. Yeah, that's cute. She spoils it to sell at the Grand Festival to make the stars turn. That's really interesting. The idea that the finger reader crones know the secret purpose of the festival. Like everything else across the street of the purpose of the festival is to give this honorable death, the Great Lord Commander, Baba Boop. But the idea that people other than Ronnie and her cohort understand the purpose of the festival is to make the stars.
Yes.
It's not to celebrate. Right?
Yeah.
That's a cool idea.
Or it's just they understand kind of the natural result that will come of it.
Yeah. It's interesting for a finger reader crone.
Yes.
To have that knowledge.
Then she says, to the east, the hardened flower to be, but dare you enter into the heart of the scarlet rot. This is potentially confusing because it's not a bud of a flower to be. That flower done blooms, notably. But she could possibly be referring to an NPC we're going to be talking about, Millicent, whose quest line and her relationship to the Scarlet Rot is concerned with that. She's kind of talking in present and future and past tense about this.
Yeah. I still feel like it's not, because the flower doesn't bloom, but the flower does bloom
multiple times.
Yeah. And Millicent, like we'll get to Millicent, I find Millicent very confusing.
Yes.
In this game. There is a headcanon Millicent and her sisters that makes sense to me. That is a little bit underwhelming, but it's like the thing that makes sense to me. Millicent, I find it.
Yeah. But regardless, she's saying, hey, to the east, there's the Aeonian Swamp, and Celia, in the south, that's where Redmane is.
Yep. So this is the area, we talked about this a little bit this area is less of a desert and more humble.
Yeah.
The trees are thicker, they're more gnarled, fucked up, and these humble masses, these small environmental cups. Those are everywhere.
Yes. I love that you're wandering among the brain trees of the brain forest. Going along here. I like that just up there. And depending on the time of day, you're able to see, some of these possible places to go. You can see Redmane Castle to the east, especially if you're looking over the Aeonian Swamp here. And if you look south into the west, we're going to see kind of our intermediate goal. This fortress that is kind of standing on its own little mountain. To get there, we're not going to follow the road. We're actually going to walk along the smoldering wall here.
Yeah. There, as we head on our way, that is smoldering, like still on fire for this. And this is, we can find an item called the Slumbering Egg. Prize is a symbol of the most sublime slumber. Which is worship St. Trina, which I relate to. Yeah. Worship more in the world of than the sleep goddess. I was like an actress called Sleep Goddess.
You can imagine that. There's a god that markets it.
Yeah. Like, imagine the armor hugs you for Dark Souls 1, but it's a bed. And it's that's the goddess. Instead of being armor, like a really more uncomfortable, smelly, heavy, it's a bed.
I don't like this guy carrying around this hatching egg. It's like how the patrolmen carry around. Lots of people carry them, but non-Catholic people who travel around a lot carry Christopher medallions. Just maybe.
If he's got to keep his idol on.
I got baggies about that egg, bud.
Yeah. Hard boiling the egg is a cool cheat. How do they stop you from doing it?
I don't know.
Did they make you eat the egg, like, at the end? You have to, like...
I think you gotta crack it. Maybe they test it. You could tell a boiled egg from a boiled egg by spinning it.
Yeah. But how annoying and weird would it be for a teacher just to spin 32 eggs in class?
It depends on how seriously they take home ec.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Is it Bobby who's the home ec teacher, or is it the home ec teacher that was at our school?
Yeah, I know. It just seems like a cool hack. And then if you could do that to a kid who didn't care, they would prove everything.
Oh yeah, you hard boil a kid. That thing's not moving.
It's not moving. It's not moving. It's not getting. It's not gonna get hurt.
Tranquil. No? Finally, peace.
Yeah. There's another invisible beetle rolling around here. This has a very this is Ash of the Redmanes. This is a meta thing in this game, in that like it has influenced the meta. This thing staggers like nothing.
Oh yeah.
Almost everything in the game will get staggered by 2. Playing with the Redmanes, and getting this and spamming it is a PvE surefire strategy to melt the bosses.
Oh nice.
Yeah. It is a big kind of wave of fire that does immense stagger damage.
Yeah, it erupts with force. It's like almost like a super powered up version of the old combustion spell. Yeah. But yeah, we're going to be finding lots of stuff. Radon's men were not hesitant to take on these additional aids. Yeah. And at the end of the wall here, we're going to arrive at the foot of this mountain that is topped by Fort Gale. There's a grace here. This is a place to go. This is a good grace because getting into Fort Gale is pretty difficult. It is really hardened. We don't have to go here. I mean, we don't have to go anywhere in Caelid, like just in the way that everything is optional in kill 2 gods. Yeah, you got to kill 2 gods, then get out of there. But heading up to Fort Gale, you might be doing this because there's a merchant in the Dragon Barrow who gives a note talking about how Fort Gale in Caelid houses a gateway that leads to Redmane Castle. There's a little shortcut here if you don't want to have to deal with the Centipede Men.
You can teleport there. It's really interesting. We'll talk about it when we talk about Redmane. FromSoft having this living world where like a world is able to happen, that a tournament is going on, the festival is going on that changes that thing. There's something like the flagging around that is still a little movie.
And Redmane is going to be very difficult to talk about because there are effectively 2 versions of it.
Yeah, we'll talk about the version of it, basically, and then talk about the tournament because it just empties out the castle. But the point that I was saying towards is that this, in a world without the festival, this makes sense because you might want to bypass that legacy dungeon or bypass the trip to it. If you are the festival started, taking Torrent up to the gates of the castle and just wandering in is the easiest thing in the world to do. And I had already done this class and started the festival on the first playthrough. Like, I basically did it on accident. So the shortcut was nothing. It makes me feel like at some point there was maybe a bigger impetus behind this. I have mixed feelings about the teleporters in this game in general.
Yeah.
And they show a lot of evidence of growing pains and development changes to me.
Yeah.
Because they don't always make sense either narratively or ludically. It makes sense here narratively, like this is a vassal fort to Redmane. It makes sense for people to want to be able to zip-zap back and forth. Fast travel point, basically.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make tons of sense politically.
It's everybody jokes about how FromSoft is married to completely distinct areas with coffins. The waypoints are just a different version of the coffin.
And there's just way more of them.
Yeah.
So this is very fortified. We're going to have knights. These walls are catapults, or great wall archer rather, up front, raining down these lightning rods. So you either have to kind of zigzag, saving Private Ryan, get up to him. You can also, there's a right path. You can kind of stealth your way up here. This is after, it's been a long time since the game but if you remember that stuff is viable in this game, it works really well for infiltrating this fort. You can go up the right side and just get behind it without ever waking up this great big guy.
Yeah. I did not know that. I everyone over there, I always pierce right through.
Yeah, you can sneak going through the back.
Yeah. Oh, and when you get to the gate itself, you do have to go in through the back because the front gate, the portcullis, is closed. It opens up with a lever on the upper walls. So you've got to kind of shimmy around the scaffolding to get around back and then up to the top. And imagine my dismay to look down and see the Lion Guardian.
Yeah, the leader, misbegotten guy.
Different things.
Yeah,
Lion Guardian.
The same dude we fought in the vestibule of
Yeah, no, this is Lion Guardian.
I didn't know if that was this guy's name. These things suck. Big lion really tied a sword to his arm. You need to sell them. The nice thing about going in through the back is that you can cheese up with sorcery or arrows, which is what I did because fuck fighting these guys.
Yeah, don't want to get up close. No. And you want to fight them from the very upper walls because there's kind of an intermediate wall next to the treasure room where you get a little physical. So attacking from the tippy top, we're going to be trying to reach.
You have these kind of outer walls here. There's really no reason to go down actually into this corridor.
Oh, no.
You can open up the gate and just get a bad trip. But yeah, there's no one to do this. Up on the walls, we always try to go to the Star Scourge area. This raises a talisman that raises your strength. And we're also finding evidence of pyromancy.
Yes.
Zones here, we're going to find an incantation, a fireman incantation of Holy Mercy Strength. Which is really great. Boosts both physical and fire damage. If you were using a weapon that scales with strength and his fire, this gives you double bonus. It's really good.
I imagine that probably stacks with the jellyfish rage mode.
Oh, sure. Well, all these are stacked.
Yeah.
You can certainly stack that. It is part of the, the various one-shot setups you can do.
But I like this. So you read the description, a little bit more insight into the fire monks. The fire monks believe that any fire magic that does not hurt you as the wielder does not instill fear of the flame and is therefore heretical. So I kind of like this. My little headcanon story here is, this incantation, it's useless to the fire monks. But somebody who is gifted in incantations and Radahn's Force, well, fuck, I can just use that. This is them juicing. Let's just keep this around. They don't want
it. There's a spirit sitting up on top of the wall here, looking out at the castle across the wall. He mentions that war, honor General Radahn, the Raiders glory. It's in your hands, Sir Jaren. We'll meet Sir Jaren.
the party master.
Yeah, the party master was inside the 16th century. He was also a reused model of There's like a weird cut of DC that was Jaren before they made Jaren.
Weird. At the very top of the tower, that's where you find the way gate that will just deposit you in the middle of Breakman Castle, which was very confusing. It deposits you next to a way gate inside, which if you use it, it doesn't take you back here. It takes you to the near side of the impassable bridge. And if you use the way gate there, it puts you on the far side of the impassable bridge.
It's a lot like Starflight.
Oh, yeah.
Holes in Starflight.
Yeah, that's true.
Except that those are wormholes. And these are just like magical pieces.
Yeah, it's like a little circular network of these things. Yeah, it's quite strange.
A little silly.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Instead, we're going to go head back to the jail cave.
Yes. So we can go back along the wall and then down the highway, headed south from here. Once the ridge breaks, we can kind of head west and get to this swamp that's at the base of the cliff. Underneath the Fort Gale. And this is the first time we see the big moats, the big blood moats that will erupt. What is causing this shit to geyser here?
I don't know. Corruption of the land.
Maybe.
It looks like blood, but it's scarlet rot.
Yeah.
Because there's very specific blood lakes and stuff later. Like I hate blood being a proper noun. And that's... but yeah, it's just... the nuke went off here.
Mm-hmm.
It fucked everything up. Those are where the Miranda blooms are, that are the angry flowers that grow here.
Uh-huh.
They're covered with rot. We're going to see their permutations and their mutations as well.
Mm-hmm.
And these like big knotted stalks of their plants with these little pink, gross pink blooms around here. That makes this contrast of like grody red with grody pink, like biological.
It's like just the sickly green. It's kind of the only non-rust color thing that we get.
Yeah. There's another one. We haven't had one of these in a while. There's a ghost that will walk you somewhere if you want to walk real slow.
He walks you real slow through the scarlet rot, and he only appears when you're close to him.
I do care for this guy. It's worth noting, I'm sure we talked about this when we talked about generalities, but it's really operative here. It's a real kindness in this game that Torrent is not affected by status effects.
Oh, very much so.
It's a big thing that challenge mods do. In this is make Torrent get hurt by poison.
There are boss fights. I mean, the boss fight over in the Ionian Swamp, I don't know how you would do that. If you didn't have Torrent's.
Are you talking about O'Neill?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never used Torrent for that.
Oh, weird. Huh.
There's dry land that you can. There's zones you can go. I love that fight. There's a lot of different ways to do it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. Yeah. But I also just really like those fights mechanically. Like I don't like that he summons ads, but I like his moveset.
Yeah.
All the variants of that guy are good to me. But yeah, it's so this ends up being a poison swamp, but not a big deal at all. Like tons of people talked about like, oh, Miyazaki is horny for poison swamps. I've been playing Elden Ring for 20 hours. I've already run into 7 of them. Kinda. There's 2 real ones.
Yeah.
And one of them you can just go on your horse through.
Yeah. And the other one is like a puzzle area.
Yeah. It's really not. Like, these are the most generous and sweethearted poison swamps that have ever been in public games.
Yeah.
Other than the Lake of Rock.
Right. Yeah.
So. But I cannot imagine slowly walking through the sky, when I could just sweep the edges for caves, which is what I do instead. When you get in here, this is sealed off by a stone sword key.
Yeah. And this is called the Jail Cave, Gaol. That happens to be the jail for the Gale Fortress. It's the Gale Jail.
Gale Jail. Yeah, it's what Jesse put it in. This is the one. This is I was referring to it last episode, where, and again, I love this little short story that's kind of being told here. It's weird there are underground jails here because you don't see it, but you can imagine in any kind of story where zombies are about, there are people who try to contain them rather than eliminate them at first.
Yes.
It's another area where the timeline may be mattered. Because maybe when people first started turning into these zombies, they're like, these are our citizens. Radon is out to lunch. We cannot, what the fuck do we do? I guess we just stick them in a cell?
Yeah, just make sure they can't get close to us.
And you can almost see this escalation. Like, in my head canon, again, we don't have a timeline, but it feels like the kind of thing that would happen before they resorted to fire.
Yeah.
Like, them becoming entirely fire-pilled feels like a last resort. Burn it as the last refuge of somebody in emergency.
Yeah. If you value their life, then you will kill them so that nothing else, so that they will not take something else.
Yeah. So, and if you value the rest of the world, but this is early on.
Yeah.
So they stuck them in cages.
Yeah, this is neat because you walk in and the walls are rough hewn. It looks like a cave, but then you notice, right away, the thing that is blocking your progress is a barred jail door, right? And to progress, you have to fall through this false floor. Confusingly, the main enemy that you're going to fight here on the way in is vulgar militia. Those little guys are popping up.
Yeah, I like to think that they just saw a jail and were like, I could be a jail. Like powder gang or whatever. I don't know. There's not a lot of jobs for short people. But I don't necessarily think they were employed by.
Yeah, I've got no idea.
It feels like a kind of thing to me. Not totally sure. It's a complicated dungeon. Because there's all these little tunnels here, and in order to make forward progress, you have to pull the lever, which opens up the way forward, but opens up all the jail cells as well.
Yeah.
You maybe wanted to get in there, similar to like Latria. You maybe wanted to get in there because there are treasures in there, but it also lets all of the putrid corpses out.
Yeah, and these are the exploding variety.
Yes. There are lots of sight lines in this dungeon, like where you can be up above enemies, like whip them out and then snipe them. Well designed dungeon. Like this, Elden Ring rightly gets some shit, I think, for the caves and dungeon system. Some of them feel phoned in. So when one of them is complicated, it has like a very solid gimmick. It really stands out.
Yeah. Yeah, this feels like it is somewhere in between. I mean, like this as a part of kind of feel good. I would say that both of them feel like a little bit incomplete on their own. But if you look at it as like part of a larger system, together it forms like a real proper think companion to say like Castle Morn, right?
Yeah. Like maybe not quite.
Yeah.
The one area where this whole zone kind of lets you down is in bosses. Or repeated bosses, dungeon cave bosses. We're just fighting the guy we fought again before.
Yeah.
Frenzy
Duelist. He's got that axe with the ball and chain on the end of it. But we know their story. They were exiled from the Colosseum. I don't know which Colosseum. Those ones that everybody's exiled from because nobody can get in them.
Yeah, again, a thing that is likely was cut content or will be DLC.
Yes.
There are ways to get in, stuff like that. There's sites of grace that are called the reception desk. We talked about all that stuff.
Yeah.
At one point the Colosseums were a bigger thing. As is, there's just a big guy down here, and it's a big guy we fought before, and it's not that fun to fight in the first place.
Yeah. No clue. But he also drops a not great summon ash. Yeah, the putrid corpses. I do not see any reason to use this.
No thanks.
No thanks.
The only thing that's really worth it here mechanically is going out through the rear entrance of this, because it puts us on this little set piece here, this little small grave plot that is on a little cliff, looking back on Limgrave, looking out at Mistwood.
Yeah.
And there's a chest here that has a sword called the Regalia of Eoshade.
I would say Eohade, maybe?
Eohade?
Yeah.
This is interesting and good. Eohade or Eoshade is the original homeland of the bell-bearing hunter.
Yep.
And we're eventually going to run into him and find his castle, where he has basically decided to start worshipping Melania before she became a goddess. And this is the closest you get to do. This is a really good weapon. It's really great for arcane builds. Its weapon art, he throws it in the air and it spins. Hits multiple times like a little drill.
Yeah.
Each of those hits is individual, so if you have any of the talismans that stack up damage on successive hits, this thing just fucking shreds.
Yeah.
I've seen people like two-shot, like the tree sentinel before, what's his name, Malagath.
Oh yeah.
Like I've seen him go two-shot, which is
Jesus.
It's I really want to try a playthrough.
Yeah.
Game build with this guy, this sword specifically.
Yeah, like any of these weapons that feel too specialized, or kind of like, oh man, the stats on that aren't good. The arcane build unlocks it. Just like, oh, you thought that was shit. Oh, actually, joke's on you, because it's one of the most effective things in the game.
It's that, and then the other thing where it's like, if there's a real goofy weapon, you gotta bet that has a 17 faith requirement. Like, you want to run around smacking people with a trumpet? 17 faith, baby.
The cost of admission.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is awesome, and I'm weak to dispose of, because I like that. I love all of the intermediate castles in this.
Yeah.
I love the shaded castle, and I love that also. Like, I don't like fighting the bell-bearing hunters in the world that much.
Yeah.
The boss fight with Eleanor of the Warrior, when you get that, I think is a really great boss fight.
Yeah.
A really cool area for it to be, and it makes it work.
Yeah. I like his lore too. Like Eleanor basically becoming is amazing. You know? Like, oh, he was marked for death, his kingdom no longer exists. He said, fuck you, I'm gonna take your executioner sword and make my own way, become a scourge upon the land. And the only thing that I don't know is why he left the sword of his homeland here. Was he locked here at one point? No idea.
maybe he escaped. He escaped out the wrong side. He's like, well, shit, there's a cliff. I know. That sucks. Yeah. And he hates merchants.
Mm-hmm. With a passion.
If we return to the highway and head south, we run up on these the Kindred of Rot. These are the pests.
Yeah.
That we talked about before. These things were when the Aeonian swamp started.